It's okay. We are ready to begin budget hearings for the 2016 budget. Hard to believe, isn't it, everybody? We have with us today County Administrator Ken Wilson. And Ken, if you'd like to introduce your team and then get started, why don't we go ahead and do that?
Good afternoon, and thank you, President Brown, Commissioners O'Grady, Commissioner Brooks. I have here to my left Chris Long, Deputy County Administrator, and to my right, Eric Janis, Deputy County Administrator. We are pleased to be here this afternoon to present the 2016 recommended budget. I'd like to present the 2016 recommended budget for Franklin County. Under the Commissioner's direction, we present a budget that is fiscally responsible and addresses the needs of our growing community. After years of dealing with the aftermath of the 2008-2009 recession and subsequent slow recovery, we are focusing on the future of the county and laying the foundation for the provision of effective and efficient government services to meet anticipated demands for service. Part of the efficient response involves increasing collaboration amongst the county's courts, agencies, boards in order to maintain fiscally sustainable government operations in the years to come. In addition, the county continues to partner with other local governments, nonprofit agencies, and private businesses to support the strong regional economy and remain a top community for good jobs and affordable housing. We will highlight a few of these collaborative efforts throughout today's presentation. The Commissioners govern in an environment of continual growth and must be mindful of the impact this will have in the coming years when developing the annual budget. Since 2005, Franklin County's population has grown 15.3%. In 2014, the county added over 19,000 individuals. This is the largest annual population increase since 2009. The Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission projects in the Insight 2050 report that the population in Central Ohio will grow 25% between 2010 and 2040. In contrast, the rest of Ohio will see a 3% decrease during the same time period. With that growth comes increased responsibilities. These include addressing job creation in multiple sectors and at all wage levels through economic development efforts, ensuring the physical security of the county's residents, and planning for future infrastructure needs. In addition to the growing population, Franklin County, like other similarly situated counties nationally, continues to see a large number of individuals and families living in poverty. The poverty rate for all people is 17.2%, which is 2.7% up more than in 2005. While certain segments of the community have seen improvement in their finances, almost 1 in 4 children in the county continue to live in poverty. In 2014, the 2014 rate for those under the age of 18 is almost 5 percentage points more than pre-recession rates. As we will see in the 2016 recommended budget, the Commissioners maintain a commitment to addressing this unacceptable poverty rate and attendant health and human services needs. Facing the reality of declining revenue and trying to meet the needs of a growing community, a permanent increase in the county's sales tax rate by 1/4% was approved in September of 2013, along with a 1/4% temporary increase, which will expire on December 31st of 2018. The new combined rate applied to all retail sales in Franklin County beginning January 1 of 2014. As a result of the increased sales tax collections beginning in 2014, the county has restored the balance between operating revenues and expenditures without reliance on general fund cash reserves. In 2014, the county added $15.7 million to its general fund cash reserves. The 2015 projection indicates that the county will add $9.7 million to its reserves, while the 2016 recommended budget shows an additional $10.7 million contribution. This aligns with the county's long-term financial forecast and will allow for the county to continue to make contributions to its economic stabilization reserve or rainy day fund. Allocate funds to the county's next 27th pay, which occurs in 2020, as well as meet the commitments to set aside dollars to provide the backstop to the Convention Center Hilton Hotel. General fund revenue in the 2016 recommended budget is expected to be $431.5 million, which represents $16.1 million more than the 2015 projected actuals. The largest portion of the increase is related to growth in the county's sales tax collections. In 2016, sales tax revenue is estimated to increase by $11.4 million, or 4% more than 2015 projections. While estimates for 2016 reflect economic recovery as indicated by year-over-year revenue growth from multiple sources, the county must remain fiscally prudent as multiple funding streams remain below pre-recession levels. Local government fund revenue is projected at $12.8 million, or $0.2 million, 1.6% more than expected to be received in 2015. However, the 2016 recommended budget is 51.3% less than the amount received by the county in 2008 as a result of changes approved in House Bill 153 in 2011. Investment earnings are estimated at $9.7 million, or $1 million, or 11.6% more than projected actuals for 2015. However, this amount is 77.1%, or $32.7 million less than the actual pre-recession earnings received in 2007. Real estate taxes, including state reimbursements, are projected at $39.5 million for 2016 based on the estimates provided by the County Budget Commission. Prior to the sixth annual reappraisal in 2011, which resulted in a 6% decrease in Franklin County property values, the county collected $40.3 million in real estate taxes. Revenue from operations of casinos is estimated to be $6.5 million based on state estimates, which is $0.6 million less than the 2015 projection and far below the original estimate of $16.8 million annually from the state. The 2016 recommended budget contains $420.3 million in general fund appropriations. When the investments made possible by the temporary sales tax are excluded, this amount falls to $364.1 million, including $5 million in contingency to cover unexpected expenditures. During the 2016 budget process, the Franklin County Office of Management and Budget fully assessed budget requests of every agency, office, and court within the context of the county's mandatory needs, statutory duties, and demand for services. OMB's reviews and suggestions were then used to develop the recommended budget. As a result of this analysis, the 2016 general fund budget is $17.7 million, or 4% less than the total amount requested. Fully understanding that the county must balance the cost of mandated services, demand from county residents, and other spending priorities with the directive to utilize public dollars in the most efficient and effective manner. The 2016 recommended general fund budget for comparable year-over-year continuous operations and capital improvement only increases 1% when compared to 2015 projected actual expenditures. If the strategic investments associated with the temporary sales tax are included for both years, the increase is then 2.9%. When reviewing general fund expenditures by function, excluding temporary sales tax investments, the percent of expenditures related to the Commissioner's core principle of public safety, justice, and security is 3.2 percentage points higher than 2012. This core principle comprised 60.7% of the recommended general fund budget in 2016. As a part of the 2016 recommended budget, the temporary sales tax is expected to yield $59.1 million to support various investments in the Commissioner's core principles. For example, under community safety, a transfer of $44 million will be made to the Public Safety Center Fund to support the construction of the new jail and morgue and forensic facility. Under job creation, $4.8 million in economic development to support grants for the Smart Works programs. Under support of health and human services, $4.9 million in community partnerships. Under good stewardship, $2.5 million to support the sanitary engineering projects to provide clean water and sanitary sewer systems. In addition to this $56.2 million investment, the balance of annual revenue received from the temporary sales tax will be added to cash reserves to meet unanticipated needs in furtherance of the county's fiscal sustainability principles. The temporary sales tax will expire on December 31st, 2018. Since the county receives sales tax 3 months after the sale, the final collections from the temporary sales tax will be received during the first quarter of 2019. While a majority of the general fund addresses the core principle of public safety, justice, and security, the primary driver of the all funds budget are social and human services. The total amount of budget appropriations recommended for all county funds in 2016 is $1.47 billion, which represents a $35.9 million or 2.5% increase from 2015 projected actuals. However, the 2016 recommended all funds budget is $41.7 million or 2.8% less than requested.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Chris Long, Deputy County Administrator. In order to review the 2016 recommended budget in more detail, we will now highlight major initiatives and achievements associated with each of the Commissioner's core principles. The greatest and most basic priority in this budget is the commitment to community safety and effective justice. The 2016 recommended all funds budget includes a total of $261.7 million in support of the courts, prosecutor, public defender, sheriff's office, and other county justice and safety agencies, including the transfer of $44 million to the Public Safety Center Fund for the construction of the new jail, the correctional facilities, and morgue, the Forensic Science Center. Over 63.5% of the county's general fund budget will be spent on public safety, justice, and security for Franklin County residents. Additional investments related to the Sheriff's Office demonstrate the Commissioner's commitment to community safety and security. In 2015, the Board of Commissioners approved 9 additional positions within the Sheriff's Office in an effort to improve the efficiency of the office. The 2016 recommended budget includes 4 new positions for the Special Investigations Unit. 3 of these positions will be part of the Heroin and Opiate Prevention and Education Task Force, the HOPE Task Force, to help combat the alarming overdose rate in Central Ohio, provide education, and increase public awareness of the heroin use epidemic in Franklin County. The other new position will be part of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. The investments recommended today are a continuation of Franklin County's partnership with local, state, and federal authorities in efforts to support community safety and security. Also, a civilian court liaison position is recommended to help manage when deputies are needed for court cases. This should help reduce overtime in the sheriff's office by notifying deputies before they arrive at the courthouse if they are no longer required to attend a hearing. The 2016 recommended budget contains $68.4 million from the general fund for operations of the courts and $30 million for criminal and civil prosecution and legal defense services. Through a collaboration between the various courts and county justice and social service agencies, the E-Governance Board is working to replace the current Franklin County Justice System, the FCJS. Included in the 2016 recommended budget is $800,000 for developing a request for proposal for the new case management system and project management services in support of this effort. With this funding, a consultant will be engaged to gather the functional requirements and workflows from the primary stakeholders, the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, both the General Division and Domestic and Juvenile Division, the Franklin County Probate Court, and the 10th District Court of Appeals, as well as peripheral users of the system, which include the Prosecutor's Office and the Public Defender's Office, Sheriff's Office, Child Support Enforcement Agency, and Children's Services. The new case management system will streamline justice operations and is expected to be completed by 2019. The 2016 recommended budget also includes $200,000 in general fund support for the reception center. The reception center is a detention center diversion program that is a partnership between the Franklin County Domestic Court, Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County, and the Columbus Police Department. The program has served nearly 2,050 youth since opening in September 2013 by connecting them and their families with resources to increase compliance with court requirements and prevent recidivism. Based on last year's data, over 80% of the youth originally slated at the reception center have had no new legal charges, and none of the high-risk youth who have participated in the evening supervision program have reoffended. Pursuant to Section 2101.026 of the revised code, the Franklin County Guardianship Service Board officially commenced service as Ohio's first and only public guardian on October 1st, 2015. The board was created to ensure the care and treatment of incompetent, mentally ill, and other vulnerable residents of Franklin County. The board consists of 3 individuals appointed by the Probate Court Judge, Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County, and Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities. The board's director serves as the guardian of last resort for eligible Franklin County residents. The Probate Court Judge allocates funding from the Mental Health Fund, which includes funding from Adam H. and the Board of Developmental Disabilities for the operation of the board. The commissioners have offered their support of this important service through payment of the board's employees' fringe benefits. The National Association of Counties, NACO, the Council of State Governments, CSG Justice Center, and the American Psychiatric Association Foundation have come together to lead a national initiative to help advance counties' efforts to reduce the number of adults with mental and co-occurring substance use disorders in jails. In May 2015, the commissioners adopted a resolution supporting the Stepping Up initiative, accepting the report of the Council of State Governments Justice Center on criminal justice and behavioral health systems in Franklin County, and resolving to implement an improvement project, track results, and report on progress. The Council of State Government report indicated 22% of the Franklin County jail population has a serious mental illness compared to 5% of the general population. In addition, 68% of the jail population with a serious mental illness had a co-occurring alcohol and/or drug addiction issue. The report indicated that the average length of stay for persons with mental illness in Franklin County is 32 days compared to 20 days for those without mental illness. The county has initiated the process to address these issues identified in the report. The commissioners recently approved a reentry social services specialist position in the Office of Homeland Security and Justice Programs. The specialist will be responsible for performing assessments, orientation, treatment planning, counseling, documentation, reentry planning, and referral of participants to ongoing treatment services in the community. The 2016 recommended budget includes authorization for a second reentry social service specialist position. 6 of the positions added in the Sheriff's Office in 2015 will help support the Stepping Up initiative by increasing the staff's capacity to manage a multiple number of projects within the Corrections Division. These projects include the Lifetime Number Project, Objective Classification, a jail management system, the medical RFP, legal-based standards review, crisis intervention team CIT coordination, reentry programming, and new jail project coordination. On October 1st, 2015, Franklin County was awarded a 3-year Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program grant in the amount of $248,000 from the U.S. Department of Justice Bureau of Justice Assistance. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office and the Office of Homeland Security and Justice Programs, in collaboration with the Adam H. Board, Columbus Police Department, and Franklin University, received funding to target services for females incarcerated within the Franklin County Jail who are diagnosed with a mental health disorder. The proposed assessments, case management, and treatment services, including an individualized continuum of care plan for transition into the community, align with the county's commitment to the Stepping Up initiative. Just this month, the Commissioners approved the contract for the development of the Objective Classification System for the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. The system will allow the Sheriff's Office to effectively classify inmates housed at the Franklin County Correctional Facilities to ensure they are placed and housed in a safe and appropriate manner. Finally, the 2016 recommended budget for the Adam H. Board includes approximately $750,000 for allocations to Southeast, Comp Drug, and the Legal Aid Society to support the Stepping Up initiative.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Eric Janis, Deputy County Administrator. As evidenced by the efforts just outlined by Chris on the Guardianship Service Board and the Stepping Up initiative, a collaborative effort of both the justice and the health and human service systems in our community is necessary to successfully address changes and challenges in our community. This leads us to our next Franklin County core principle, which is to provide supportive health and human services. The social and human services category is the largest in the all funds budget, comprising 46.7% of this recommended budget. Franklin County delivers services, a variety of health and services, which are for the most part supported by property tax levies, as well as state and federal funds. As seen in the chart on the screen, almost 2/3 of these expenditures are for the Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities and for Franklin County Children's Services. In 2014, developmental disabilities served nearly 20,000 individuals with developmental disabilities so that they can live, work, learn, and participate in the community. This is a 20.9% increase since 2010. The board projects serving an additional 339 individuals in 2015. Children's Services is projecting 12,549 completed investigations into reported child abuse and neglect through December 31st of this year. That reflects a 3.3% increase in investigations since 2010. This recommended budget also includes $5.7 million in general fund appropriations for the Veterans Services Commission, and that reflects the county's commitment to the men and women of Franklin County who have served in the armed forces. This is a 6.4% increase from last year's approved budget and will provide immediate financial assistance for food and rent, transportation services, and consultations for benefit claim submissions for active duty personnel, veterans, and their dependents so that they can obtain eligible entitlements and benefits from the Department of Veterans Services. In addition to the support of the Veterans Services Commission, this recommended budget includes a mandated share of $4.4 million for programs administered by the Department of Jobs and Family Services and a $1.9 million subsidy to the Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency for funding of various community partnerships. The Franklin County Office on Aging continues to provide centralized access to diverse programs and individualized services for older adults in our communities so that they can preserve their independence and quality of life. The agency is projecting the number of seniors enrolled in senior options through the end of 2015 to be 9,050. That's a 4.2% increase from the previous year and a 28.5% increase since 2010. The 2016 recommended budget of almost $38 million is a 2.2% increase from last year's projected actuals. The number of seniors requesting services in the Office on Aging is expected to grow as the number of Franklin County residents aged 60 and older continues to increase. In 2010, the number of individuals 60 and over represented 14.7% of the population in our county. The Scripps Gerontology Center at Miami University projects that that number will increase to 18.1% in the year 2020. The Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services continues to exceed the federal workforce participation rate. This metric, as you know, measures the number of families receiving temporary public assistance when one or more adults are employed or actively participating in a work participation program. After significant investment of resources by you, Franklin County Job and Family Services has reached its federal target of 50% in 2013, and it has improved upon that rate each year since. The agency projects a rate of 68% this year, exceeding the county target of 60% for the first time. And the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services expects us to meet or exceed the county target in this coming year as well. The 2016 recommended budget also includes continued support for the Catalyst and Compass programs, which is a partnership between Child Support Enforcement and Job and Family Services. These programs assist non-custodial parents with workforce development services, barrier removal services, and job placement assistance in an effort to improve their ability to meet their overall child support responsibilities. Over the past year, special emphasis has been placed on the relationship between Child Support Enforcement and Children's Services in order to create an efficient process for handling foster care case referrals. Under the Ohio Child Support Program, a caregiver with physical custody of a child may obtain support from the child's parents in order to ensure children receive the financial and medical support they deserve. In addition to financial support and access to health care, children in our community should be given the chance to develop the skills they need for lifelong learning. In August, you approved an agreement between the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services and Action for Children to address early childhood education readiness. The county is providing almost $200,000 for the development of a comprehensive campaign to promote and increase access to quality early learning opportunities and programs, and to link families and children to high-quality early learning opportunities. Due to recent changes, eligibility for Medicaid has expanded in Ohio, as you well know. The Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services is tasked with assisting newly eligible residents in our community with gaining access to those services. Because of their efforts, 81,000 more residents in our county have health insurance today than they did in 2013, with more than 65,000 individuals receiving Medicaid coverage in 2014 alone. Processing the large influx of applications for these services has been managed with no expansion of full-time staffing due to a sizable effort by JFS staff and management. The ability of Franklin County residents to receive care and treatment for their health needs remains a high priority of you, the Board of Commissioners. And one example is as a result of the Greater Columbus Infant Mortality Task Force report, Celebrate One has been created and developed as a Columbus and Franklin County collective impact initiative to reduce the area's alarmingly high infant mortality rate by 40% and to cut the racial disparity in half. In 2015, the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services issued a subaward of over $700,000 to the Columbus Health Department for the implementation of a Celebrate One marketing and promotion strategy to combat infant mortality. In total, the 2016 recommended budget for community partnerships includes $2.8 million from the general fund for access to health care initiatives. Moving to the next slide, community partnerships. The budget before you includes $16 million in grants to community partners who support the county's core principles through their work with Franklin County residents. In addition to the funds in support of access to health care initiatives, a continuing priority in 2016 will be emergency shelter and supportive housing. According to the Community Shelter Board, a record 10,500 people slept in homeless shelters last year. Over the last 3 years, the number of homeless families increased 79%, while the number of men and women increased 16%. The budget before you includes nearly $5.2 million for the Community Shelter Board in 2016. That includes continued support of approximately $1.8 million for the Navigator Program, which, as you know, is a new centralized case management approach to ending homelessness in Franklin County. The Navigator Program focuses on single adults, helping those that reside in emergency shelter to access community resources such as employment and job training, support services, medical care, and housing resources. The recommended budget also includes $2.6 million for the Columbus-Franklin County Affordable Housing Trust. The Affordable Housing Trust is a non-for-profit organization dedicated to the production of affordable homes and apartments, investment in affordable residential development, and construction in older and overlooked areas throughout our county. In December 2014, the Commissioners entered into a 5-year, $8 million agreement with the Greater Columbus Arts Council in support of Art Matters, a capital and program expansion at the Columbus Museum of Art. In addition to impacting the quality of life for Franklin County residents, the museum is a key driver in the Central Ohio cultural community that generates $226 million in economic activity and supports 8,500 jobs. The direct and indirect impact of Art Matters is projected to be more than $100 million in the creation of approximately 400 jobs. And this budget includes $2.5 million for that program. As discussed, strategic investments and community partnerships also relate to your next core principle, which is the promotion of job creation, strategic economic development, and fiscal security. The 2016 recommended budget for economic development and planning contains $16.4 million in grants, of which $7.1 is funded by the state and federal governments and administered by Franklin County. Approximately 3/4 of these dollars are devoted to providing affordable and safe housing for low and moderate income Franklin County residents and special need populations, as well as assisting existing homeowners with rehabilitation, assisting first-time homeowners, and encouraging developers to make investments in emerging communities. The budget also includes $9.2 million in economic development grants that are supported by the general fund. These grants are primarily focused on economic development throughout the county. This includes $2 million for Experience Columbus to support their efforts to attract tourism to our community. Visitors to Franklin County are estimated to generate over $1 billion in tax revenue, which saves the average Franklin County household nearly $2,300 annually in taxes. It also includes $1 million for Columbus 2020 for the purposes of business attraction and retention, developing entrepreneurship and regional economic development collaboration, among many others. The largest investment of general fund dollars in 2016 is SmartWorks, which is the suite of programs that includes Infrastructure Works, People Works, and the Energy Works programs. Last month, the Commissioners approved the first round of Infrastructure Works projects to spur economic growth in the city of Whitehall through a road improvement project, the city of Upper Arlington through the construction of its fiber optic network, and the village of Marble Cliff for the expansion of water service to its community. These 3 projects are expected to support up to 511 new full-time jobs in Franklin County. Infrastructure Works, as you know, is a revolving loan program so that the same dollars can be used for additional projects as these loans are paid back. Another program of the County SmartWorks suite is PeopleWorks. The Commissioners, you have committed to investing up to $500,000 a year over the next 5 years in training and workforce development opportunities for residents and area businesses based on their individualized needs. Franklin County PeopleWorks is focused on helping solve our persistent employment challenges facing both area employers and the unemployed and underemployed clients of Franklin County's social service agencies. And it does so by facilitating private sector employment and training of low-income county residents. Finally, just this past September, you all approved committing $1.5 million a year to the Energy Works program for at least the next 5 years in order to offer a low-interest, again, revolving loan fund this time to businesses, local governments, schools, and nonprofits for energy-efficient upgrades. These upgrades could include renewable power generation, fuel cells, waste energy recovery, high-efficiency HVAC, small lighting, smart lighting, or anything else that benefits the environment and community and is feasible. As a revolving loan fund, again, the funding will be available to grow and continue in perpetuity.
In addition to being an economic development program, Energy Works is a green energy initiative and is therefore linked to the fourth core principle to promote good stewardship of natural resources, environmental resiliency, and civic engagement. The 2016 recommended budget includes a $2.5 million general fund subsidy to upgrade water and sewer systems to ensure compliance with Ohio Environmental Protection Agency regulations. These projects will support the Timber Lake Water Treatment Plant, the Cherrydale Pump Station, and Sewer System Evaluation Survey that integrates the use of GIS software as mandated by the EPA. The budget also includes $13 million in expenditures supported by Ohio Water Development Authority loans and other sources for critical infrastructure needs. In terms of environmental resiliency, Public Facilities Management is in the process of adding at least 8 charging stations for electric plug-in hybrid vehicles at various county locations. These charging stations will be utilized by Fleet Management for the newly purchased electric hybrid vehicles. Fleet Management currently has 2 electric plug-in hybrid vehicles, and the recommended budget includes funds to purchase 6 in 2016. Fleet Management will continue to work with PFM to add additional charging stations as they add more of these efficient vehicles to the county's fleet. This will contribute to the county's efforts to make its vehicle fleet more fuel efficient. Since 2013, the average miles per gallon of the county's fleet has increased 27%, going from 13.2 miles per gallon to 16.8. As evidenced by the recently completed Judicial Services Building renovation and the new Sheriff's Training Facility, Franklin County is committed to investing in buildings with enhanced environmental resiliency features such as LEED certification and interior designs to maximize the use of daylight to reduce the need for artificial lighting. The county will give substantial consideration to green building techniques and intends to aim for the highest LEED certification feasible for the Public Safety Center projects. The 2016 recommended budget includes increased funding to support the Franklin County Board of Elections. The increased funding for the Board of Elections is dedicated for essential operations expenditures that will ensure the successful administration of the 2016 primary and general elections. The increased funding includes items such as $500,000 for updated vote tabulating machines and $2,250,000 for the purchase of electronic poll books. Funding for electronic poll books was approved in the 2016-17 state biennial budget. Franklin County could receive up to $1.3 million in state funds to help defray a portion of the cost to purchase these devices. Electronic poll books will help make the voting process more efficient for voters and the Franklin County Board of Elections staff. Electronic poll books will reduce the Board of Elections' need for additional seasonal workers to handle the very labor-intensive process of scanning every page of the current paper poll books. The Commissioner's final core principle is to provide efficient, responsive, and fiscally sustainable government operations. As previously mentioned, the 2016 recommended budget includes $44 million to the county's Public Safety Center Fund. This honors the Commissioner's commitment to utilize a pay-as-you-go approach to the construction of the new county correctional facility and the new county forensic science center. Utilizing the proceeds from the temporary sales tax rate increase for the project rather than issuing $200 million in debt is expected to save approximately $100 million in avoided interest costs over the life of the debt service. Just this month, the Commissioners approved a contract, as we discussed earlier, for a contract for professional design services associated with the planning, design, and construction of the new correctional facility. The new facility will be designed as a national model for a direct supervision county jail, which will include appropriate housing for inmates with behavioral and mental health issues, a medical clinic, and an orientation or intake center, in addition to maximum security housing. As good stewards of public dollars, Franklin County strives to keep staffing expenditures in control. Despite increases in demand for services driven by population growth, the 2016 recommended budget includes 270 fewer full-time equivalent positions than the 2008 approved budget. This decline is the impact of strategic decisions throughout the county since 2008 to eliminate positions through retirement and attrition. The county continues to ensure efficient operations and an appropriately sized staff. By limiting the growth in full-time equivalent positions, the county has reduced the overall rate of staff per capita. In 2008, there were almost 6 full-time employees for every 1,000 residents, and in the 2016 recommended budget, this ratio will be 5.3, a decrease of 11.7%. Another way in which the county strives to provide efficient, responsive, and fiscally sustainable government operations is by using technology in innovative and collaborative ways. Previously recognized for the transparency of Franklin County's website, the Commissioners, in partnership with the County Auditor, enhanced the public's access to information through a recent electronic record project dubbed Citizen Transparency, which makes millions of financial records available online in a safe, secure, and easily searchable system. The new system, available at www.franklincountyohio.gov, provides residents and any member of the public with immediate access to current information and historical data on the county's revenues and expenditures, including payroll. In the fourth quarter of 2013, the Data Center, the Court of Common Pleas, Public Facilities Management, and the Board of Commissioners came together to address a county-wide outage. This initiative, known as the Network Reliability and Redundancy Initiative, upgraded the network infrastructure for both the data center and the courts, installed cabling throughout 373 South High Street, and replaced obsolete power supplies and power distribution units while providing redundancy throughout the entire network. In 2015, connectivity was established to the WeConnect disaster recovery site, and redundant internet connectivity was provided as well. A second phase is underway in which a redundant server and storage environment will be created to provide immediate access to websites and applications if a failure were to occur, and is scheduled for completion within the first quarter of 2016. This project helps to ensure that the business of government will not be interrupted in the event of technology issues. In 2014 and 2015, the data center implemented the recommendations from the 2013 security assessment. Investments in security appliances, network scanning software, patch management software, and the separation of public-facing internet applications behind a firewall are in place. The 2016 recommended budget includes appropriations for a county-wide security assessment so the county can continue to be proactive in addressing the myriad number of cyber threats facing public entities. These technology investments are critical to improving the way the county conducts day-to-day operations in serving its residents. Ongoing collaboration is necessary to ensure the county leverages its human and financial capital in the best ways possible.
Due to the Commissioner's proactive assessment of the county's finances in 2013, the county has restored the balance between operating revenues and expenditures since 2014 without reliance upon general fund cash reserves. The 2016 recommended budget will allow the county to sustain economic development and invest in other programs that growing communities like ours require and deserve. With these strategic investments, Franklin County will continue to be a welcoming and safe community for individuals and families who choose to relocate here. While Franklin County celebrates its successes, there are a number of challenges that require our attention, such as reducing the number of mentally ill in our county jail facilities, improving early childhood education readiness, and addressing the unacceptable high infant mortality rate that we've discussed here today. Under the Commissioner's leadership, county agencies will be proactively and collaboratively addressing these issues over the next year. Budget hearings have been scheduled so that an open public discussion may take place concerning these 2016 budget recommendations. County administration looks forward to working with the Board of Commissioners as it deliberates and takes actions to finalize the 2016 budget. I would like to thank all the other elected county officials, agency directors for their continued collaboration and service to Franklin County. I would like to give special acknowledgement to Zach Talerick and his team of dedicated professionals in the Office of Management and Budget for their support in developing the budget recommendations presented here today. I would also like to thank my colleagues who sat through numerous meetings as we developed these recommendations, Chris Long and Eric Janis. Finally, I would like to thank the Board of Commissioners for your continued support and leadership. And that is all.
Thank you.
We'll take any
And
questions.
thank all of you. I want to say thank you to all of the budget and management team and to all of you in administration for putting together what appears to be a very comprehensive, strategic, and effective, efficient budget. As we go through the hearings, obviously, we may hear some things that may make us change some things, but you know, as all of you in budget and management know, what you've done here is an enormous amount of work, and we know that. So thank you for what you've done over the last year. I know what it takes to put this together. And this is the beginning of our process, and it will take us the time to listen and to read through everything. But thank you.
We meet with our colleagues all across the state, all across the country. And it's not just that we know that we have a fantastic staff that does great work, whether they're in administration or in the Office of Management and Budget, or if they're our directors. We know what kind of staff we have, but so does the rest of the state and the rest of the country. You guys are recognized. I mean, obviously, Ken and Eric and folks that are involved in NACO and involved in those organizations, they see you, they know you, but it's not just you guys. It's those of you that do the work. It's the recognition that Franklin County gets for being such a well-managed organization, and we hear it all the time. I hear it all the time as I go across the country and talk to folks, and so they recognize what we have here and what kind of a staff we have here, and so we are ever grateful for the fact that you make us look good, even though sometimes it's not always the easiest job in the world.
I'd just like to thank you also. Zach didn't get introduced because he was sitting up here with us, but I know all of your staff. Zach worked really hard on this, and you have stepped into this new role this year, so this is your first budget. Ken Wilson, it's your first budget as an administrator, and I think it's turned out pretty well. I think we also owe the taxpayers of Franklin County a thank you too, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do any of this. And they've been very generous. They've been very supportive, I think, of county government here in Central Ohio, and we're extremely fortunate for that. So I hope we always remember to do that as well. Thank you all.
We wouldn't be here without them.
No, we would not.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.